Hi, we're Gypsum and the Travelers.
And this is another great episode of ETX Rocks featuring the Weathered Hearts. Y'all enjoy!
From the great state of Texas, this is the latest episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. Nestled in the piney woods of East Texas, the ETX ROCKS Show delivers the stories and songs of talented artists of all genres, all styles, from the unheralded and unheard to the legends and beyond. We bring a passion for music and a drive to go behind the curtain with our guests. We focus on all artists, from LA to New York, Nashville down to Texas, and everywhere in between. ETX is our location, not a limitation. Now, as always, it's viewers and listeners like you out there that are our biggest support for the show. If you want to contribute to the show, please do so by donating to www.paypal.me/ETXRocks. And thank you for tuning in. Wherever you're tuned in, please hit the like, follow, and or subscribe buttons. And now, for another great episode of ETX Rocks. Hey guys, Boston Chris here, and you are tuned in to the 227th episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. Now, music is all about emotion and life experiences. Brandon Nichols and his band, the Weathered Hearts, invoke a plethora of both. With ever-changing influences and changes in his life's environment, Brandon's sound and style have changed over his 20 years of playing music. In this episode, we are excited to talk about their years of playing music of a variety of genres, including his current inception they call Americana or folk rock. Everyone, please meet Brandon Nichols, Alex Williams, and Matt Collier, the Weathered Hearts. All right, guys, so we are really excited to be sitting here with the Weathered Hearts, Brandon, Matt, and Alex. And they're a three-piece, hopefully going to be a four-piece soon. I heard that there's a lead guitar player in the works.
Yeah,
so maybe we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But first time on the ETX ROCKS Show. I've been friends with Brandon for a long time, and his brother, of course, Alan. And I'm just really excited to have you on the show finally after all this time.
We're happy to be here.
I appreciate it, man. So they did bring their instruments today. They're going to play us a few songs today. And so tell us a little bit about the first one. This is called Eye for an Eye, right?
Yeah, the first song, Eye for an Eye, is a true story about the last public hanging that took place in Longview, Texas. And I was just messing around online and come across this story, got to reading it, and I'm like, I gotta write a song about it. So I basically wrote the whole song all right then. You know?
Wow.
And I think we had just first started jamming together, like our first jam. I'm like, hey, I just wrote this new one. I don't know, if you want to see what it's like. And I started playing it, and all of a sudden they kind of joined in, and I believe we actually got that song together as one of our first songs.
We finished that
Pretty
first
quick.
rehearsal.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a all true story about our hometown. Everybody sitting around watching two guys hang.
Wow.
Kind of.
So you guys check this out. This is Eye for an Eye by the Weathered Hearts.
It was a hot summer day in 1878, and 4,000 men and women came out just to see them two hang. And it was like a carnival with folks out in the streets, and anybody who was somebody was there to be seen. There to be seen. They say them boys gotta look it up. They hit him with a stick. They stole $50 before they left his throat was slit. And Amos Ben Hadley, Diamond Power, the names. They're too young to die, age 22 and 23. 22 and 23. They killed that boy, left town the same day. The law tracked him down in Finn County. They brought him back to Greg to decide their fate. That's when they said them boys they were gonna hang. watch those two men hang eye for an eye. Well, I just hope the court was right. I hope the court was right. No power asked forgiveness, said Hadley didn't do a thing. Said the saloon keeper and Glade wanted to hide him to do the deed. He said he should have never left his mama's side in Mississippi. He abandoned a career to run with bad company. Bad company. They came out to die in white shirts and black pants. They were smoking their last cigars and sitting on their coffin. The newspaper had said they planned some sort of great escape with the help from them Choctaws living down on the Sabine. Turned out the story was never true, and them boys ain't ever getting loose. And Deputy Killingsworth, he read their order to execute. Then Sheriff Durham, he adjusted the noose, and then they put that hood over their head. The trap was sprung and the rope clenched their necks, and Powell made a struggle while Hadley barely twitched. And in 1:45 them boys were dead. They were dead, dead, dead. In Longview, Texas. Longview, Texas. And who is a better man? Was it the one who did the crime, or sentenced both men to die? And what does it really say about all those who came just to watch those two men hang eye for an eye? Well, I just hope the court was right. I hope the court was right. You know, 'cause Hadley always said Powell, he never did a thing. And so many stood silent, just watch them both hang eye for an eye. Well, I just hope the court was right.
All right, so we are back with the Weathered Hearts. Again, this is Brandon Nichols, Matt Collier, and Alex Williams. First time on the ETX ROCKS Show. You're tuned into episode 227. And man, I'm really excited to get into your mind about your songwriting, because you've been doing this a long, long time, over 20 years. And, you know, reading a little bit about you, it started off really as life experiences that you were writing about, things that you had experienced yourself, and just putting it out there for other people to hear. But over time, that's changed. Like even this first song that you shared with us today, it's more about, you know, other people's experiences.
Yes, you're right. You know, back first started writing music with a lot of teenage angst, and
Yeah.
you know, angry about many things. And you know, we were playing punk rock and roll bands, you know, and I was just basically writing for therapy,
Yeah.
you know, and just getting things out, and was unfortunately kind of unhappy for too long do relationships, long story, had plenty to write about, I guess I could say, you know. And about 13 years ago, I just when I got my wife, I'm like, wow, I'm all of a sudden happy. I don't know how to write happy songs, you know. It's like kind of like enjoy the good times and write about the bad type deal, you know. And so I started kind of just writing songs about friends and putting myself in their situations, and then it went into just straight out storytelling a little bit. I branched out a little bit, just kind of out of a fact of kind of out of necessity, you know, because I was just happy. I didn't have all these things to write about, you know.
It's got to be weird as a songwriter when your music is your therapy. Yeah. And now, in a way, your wife has replaced that as your therapy. So, you know, your music is going to change. It's going to reshape almost.
Yeah. And
so, did you struggle with that at first?
A little bit. Yeah. I actually have a song talking about how hard it is to write songs these days without all the pain to fuel the words on my page or whatever, you know. And it's like. Which I don't do that with any band. I don't do that song, but it definitely made it difficult there for a little while. But I felt like, you know, looking into a lot of my favorite songwriters, say Steve Earle, you know, even Townes Van Zandt, and I mean, so many of them. There's so many, and it's like not all of them were writing personal songs, storytelling. I've always loved storytelling songs, and so once I kind of forced myself to start trying to write something that's just not so personal, I really, you know, I enjoy it. You know, it opened up a new thing, you know. Finally, I became happy, and, you know, it definitely branched out and opened up my songwriting. Right. I mean, I still write some personal songs.
And I think it's cool, too, like when you go to hear Brandon out, you know, at a venue somewhere, whether you're solo or with your band, you know, that audience connectability is so important when you're conveying art. And you know, I mean, you have a song about a mine. You know, I know that song as well, which is a story song that I know you didn't experience personally. This is kind of like the first song y'all played here, but that connectability is still there, even though you yourself didn't experience what you're singing about, what you're performing for people. So I guess the question here is, how do you connect to a song, even though you wrote it, you didn't experience it, but how do you connect on a level where people that are hearing it can also relate?
Yeah, you know, I think I just put myself in there and inside the song. You know, I put myself as the character. You know, most of the time, a lot of them songs are wrote kind of like first person, you know, like it was about me, right? Whether it's about a friend's situation or a story. I think when you're talking about Kentucky Hills, is about like me. It's like I knew the guy, like it was someone I knew, and but I try to put myself inside that personal situation, you know. And there's been times where I found myself getting outside of it when playing a song, not being there, and I feel like it don't have the same effect. You know, I mean. I enjoy it more playing it, and I feel like it comes across better when I put myself inside that song, and you know, and make it feel like a personal song. Right.
Do you still play those songs that were written pre-wife as well?
Yes.
How's your connectability to those now that you're happy?
Well,
it's gonna feel almost alien, right?
Yeah. But it's a moment of time. You know, those the hard times didn't go away. It's funny. I actually have a song in my rock and roll band that my wife sings now that I wrote about my ex, and it's so funny hearing it. And she knows, she's completely happy to do it. It's cool, everything, but it's just kind of funny. You know what I'm talking about, searching for the end.
Searching for the end.
But it's some of the songs have a harder time connecting to, but really all the ones I still play, I can connect to pretty well.
That's awesome. And I mean, you mentioned your rock and roll band, and you know, you have the solo thing, you have this, which is like Americana folk, indie rock, or rootsy rock, whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's labelable, if that's even a word.
Same.
It is now, by God.
Just made it.
Yeah.
TM.
Yep. TM. CR. Yeah, CR. But you also have The Rest, which is like a punk rock band, sort of. It's not exactly punk rock, but it's not this, that's for sure.
No.
So do you just have like, as a artist, do you have like multiple personalities and you just need to get them out in different ways, or? How does it work to be, showing different sides of yourself that way?
I don't know.
Sometimes
I don't mean like multiple personalities, like schizo kind of stuff.
I see where you're coming from.
I mean, just like, I think artists have different sides of themselves. I mean, like even Garth Brooks had an alter ego, Chris Gaines.
Let's not talk about Chris Gaines.
But you just, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, though. Like, you've got your Americana singer-songwriter side, but then you also have that side that has to get out there and do that heavy hitting stuff too.
Yeah, and it's like the rock and roll has a feeling that I don't quite get from this. Not that it's better.
Right.
They have two different feelings, but it's just so straight energy.
Yeah.
And it's a little less precise. If I could ever find the freedom doing my Americana stuff as far as in my mind as I do rock and roll, it'd be like, wow, just because it's just been doing it so long, and it's just raw. This guy, he plays in the rock and roll band too, he's a drummer. And I itch to have that rock and roll so bad too, but most of the stuff I write fits this more now.
Yeah.
And I can take these songs, turn them into a rock and roll song. That's what we did for years.
Yeah.
We do some of the actually same songs with both bands, and they sound
completely different.
Yeah. It's this guy here has to take some adjusting when we're playing rock and roll for a little while, then he has to get back into his Americana mode.
Completely different feel.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But it's like I itch for both of them so bad,
Yeah.
We took about a year off from shows on the rock and roll, and I was so ready to play it again. I think we actually started coming up with more rock and roll songs with this band, like making it more rock, and I'm like, I think it's time for me to play some rock and roll.
So how did you meet these guys?
Well, basically we all were playing in separate rock and roll bands. The Alex had Romanian Anonymous, Matt had Johnny Pecker, and and I actually didn't get to know Matt.
He didn't finish it.
Yeah, I kept it at that. I kept it at that.
Family show.
Yes, it does have more to the name. But he...
Get a little pixelated deal to cover his mouth.
Yeah. It's an M&M's container.
There you go.
Awesome. Yeah, it's... but I never really got to know Matt until we started jamming together. Me and Alex, we played more shows together, and he started playing with rock and roll band. The rest is what we're talking about, but what about 4 years ago?
Yeah, it's about 4 years ago.
Yeah, about 4 years ago. And he quickly became the only drummer I really won't care to play with for the rest of my life. But
shows up on time.
Shows up on time, and
that's a plus.
And finds the right feel.
Yeah,
he just finds the
it's
feel
so
I'm looking
important.
for.
Yeah,
it is. And be able to go from the punk rock to the Americana and strip it down to, or this acoustic like we're doing today. And but then Alex is actually who got with Matt. We started playing just to us, kind of messing around. I mean, just didn't have everyone showing up for rock and roll band practice one time, and we're like, oh, let's just do acoustic stuff. And we started doing that, and he's like, man, we need a bass player. So that's when Matt came into the picture.
I actually knew Matt. Matt and I played together, Buford Thomas and the Back Alley Stranglers for a little while.
Oh man!
And that was when he and I kind of met and became friends. And we were actually at Memphis one night. Were we playing a show or watching a show? When I told you that I was gonna ask a guy to play bass that night, and I was actually walking over to ask another fella if he'd like to sit in and play bass with us, and he just happened to be sitting at a table right there, and I directly went over to him.
Wow.
Hey, right place, right time.
Yeah. That's how it works out sometimes.
Y'all were both actually playing a show that night.
Oh, our other bands.
Yeah, both of your other bands were playing a show that night, and I just came to watch.
So you guys are backing a pretty amazing songwriter.
Well, thank you very much.
It's a true story.
Appreciate that.
But no, for real. I mean, Brandon Nichols is one of the best songwriters in East Texas, and I'm telling you that straight up. Not just as your friend, but it's true. And if you haven't heard of Brandon yet, you need to look up his music, because it drags you in. The lyrics are so meaningful, and I think that's missing in music today a lot of the times. So as backing musicians, just going from genre to genre and trying to also portray what his vision is for a song, what are those intricacies like for you guys as the backing musicians?
Well, I came from like a southern metal kind of a party band, really into this, and it was a great time. But we had fun. That's what it was.
Right.
Starting to play with Brandon, the honesty and the emotion that's in the songs is what really kind of grabbed me and made me excited to do this. It's something I've never done before. It's a totally different genre than I've ever tried to play. Never even really listened to it a whole lot before I got involved with it. But it's been some of the most fun that I've had doing anything musically, just because everything's so truthful. You're kind of putting yourself out there and letting yourself be vulnerable because of the depths of the songs.
Right.
It's not...
Because a lot of other genres are more melody driven and more...
Right. And this is the lyrics and the feeling and the emotions really there. And that's... you asked earlier, what helps you connect with the audience about that. And even though he may not be writing the song about himself, he immerses himself in it, and it's true to him.
Right.
And he really connects with the emotion of the song. And I think that helps us really connect as a band, and even helps the audience feel the song.
Right.
They may not know exactly what it's about, but they know that there's some substance there.
Right.
And it's not just...
I think that's what's great about Brandon, too, is because, a lot of times you can be at a bar or a venue or something. Maybe you're not there to hear the music. But a lot of times with an artist like Brandon, Heather Little's this way, Meredith, there's so many different people in East Texas that are great at this. It's about pulling those people from the bar into your inner circle of emotion and honesty, or from the pool table, or from the other room, or whatever it is. It's those lyrics and the realness of it that just brings everybody in, and that gives the artist the opportunity to kind of hit the ball out of the park at that point.
Exactly.
And man, that's here in droves in East Texas. It's just really cool to see those kind of artists shining finally in this area.
There's so many great artists around here.
Dozens and dozens of them, and so many are under the radar. And I feel really blessed to be able to promote those folks a little bit more, especially in the East Texas area, because there's not really much for a singer-songwriter around here. And we're going to talk a little bit more about his songwriter night that you do every is it every week?
No, it's every fourth Wednesday.
Every fourth Wednesday. And you were one of the first people in East Texas to bring up a songwriter night, so we'll definitely talk about that. But I want to get Alex's input on the question that I asked prior about the different genres and what it's like backing a songwriter like that.
It's a little different. I had back in the early 2000s, I had an opportunity to play with a singer-songwriter down in Austin and do a little touring with him, and I had a little bit of a feel for it. But mostly, I've always been a rock and roll player, and you can cut loose and play hard and heavy and really get into it with rock and roll. Getting into this type of music here, it's a little more subdued, but the good thing about Brandon is he conveys what he wants in the song so well through his playing and his lyrics and his singing, that it's a whole different feel. It's not the letting loose and heavy hitting.
Right.
There's a lot more of a dynamic change and just an easiness to it.
Do you guys feel like, you both come from rock backgrounds, metal, rock, stuff like that. Do you guys feel like, almost itchy sometimes? Like, man, I just want to let loose.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Sometimes we have to be told that we might need to go a little different direction.
We get scolded from time to time. Hey, why don't you rein it back in a little bit?
But it always works out. We'll figure out the groove.
It's always him.
It's the drummer, man.
Yeah, of course, man, always.
But it's
drummer
easy.
was on time for this, by the way. I just want folks out there to know
That's
that.
because I rode with.
Hey, I will tell you, this guy shows up early most of the time. It's a laughing thing at our house. Like, we'll get together at 7
That means you
o'clock.
started on a different instrument.
Like an accordion, recorder. That's
Triangle.
Yeah, a triangle. He
Played
started.
trumpet in the marching band or something.
Yeah, this guy is like, he'll show up 10 minutes early, and my wife, it's funny, she's like, Alex is out there, if he's not there early, and my daughter's like, why ain't Alex here yet?
Yeah.
I'm serious.
That's a good thing, man.
It is.
Yeah.
My other rock band used to give me hell because I'd say, you know, we'd be playing an out of town show. I'm like, well, we need to be there at this time, and we'd get there and we'd be 2 hours early. But hey, we're set up and ready to go.
That's me.
Have a beer and get ready.
Yeah.
Yep, that's me. I try to be an hour early for everything.
Well, if you're on time, you're late.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how I feel about it. Like, if I have an appointment at 5 o'clock, I want to be there by 4. And I'll start freaking out at 4:01 that I'm a minute late for an hour early. But
Everybody
of
has
that,
their own neuroses.
Yeah, because of that, I'm never late. Hardly ever. You know, but my fiance probably despises that.
We're- Yeah, that's a good thing. We are known, like my family, my wife and daughter and me are known for like being 15 minutes late to everything. So we are. It is. It's like.
So Alex keeps you honest.
Yeah. But I'm good about music stuff. I guess getting early.
Yeah.
I am. But it's like everything else. Always late. Always. I think I was 5 minutes late here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on that. I'm just like, why are they not here? They know they're the first interview of 3 today, right? No.
I said 1. They should have been here at 12.
And 1 o'clock was your idea. I would like to point out.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
Oh, was it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Because I was trying to get you in. We usually do 3, 5, and 7, and you were like 1 o'clock will work.
Super Bowl, man.
That wasn't one of the choices.
Super Bowl.
That's probably right. That's probably why that
My
happened.
bad.
So yeah, the Super Bowl is today. I'm probably going to get some hate for what I'm wearing, but if they lose, that's okay. We already have 5. You know what I'm saying?
As long as they win and the Eagles never get one.
So, yeah.
I don't care.
So even if we lose, we're still going to be hated in Texas because we didn't keep
Not
the
if you
Eagles.
beat the Eagles, though.
Yeah.
But that's my point. If we lose to the Eagles
almost
today,
like- yeah, the
we're going to
Pats
be
will be
hated
hated
by
for that.
Cowboys fans because then you guys will never hear the end of it from Eagles fans, and that'll be our fault.
True story.
It never fails. We end up talking about football.
Always happens.
Well, it is Sunday.
Yeah, every band practice they'll get into a sports talk, and I'm like, anybody want to talk about some race cars, or motocross?
Crickets.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, they're not really. Not really.
I don't know. That's pretty big in the South.
Yeah, it is. It is. But
Daytona's coming up soon.
Yeah, it's real simple. Yeah.
All right, back on track.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I respect about you, Brandon, is you've lived a lot of different experiences throughout your life. I'm quoting his questionnaire here. Having a kid, losing a kid, 8-year bad relationship, a 13-year awesome relationship, and just, everyday life has affected you in a lot of ways. So I would love to hear from your perspective as a songwriter throughout 20 years of history and life experiences and changing times, changing genres, all of those things. How do you maintain an identity as a songwriter throughout all of that?
I don't really know other than it's just kind of what I do.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a part of me. I could not imagine not having it. And it feels so good to write a song. And when I write something, I'm always itching to have another new song to play, and it just, but I feel like it's such a part of me now. Like I almost don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Whether I was playing them live for people or not, I would be writing songs,
Right.
and I, like we were talking about before, it came into being, talking about the negative sides of my life and kind of like a venting type thing, but it's become such a part of me where like when I have nothing to vent about, I still want to write about something.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time writing about happy things in my life. It really is.
I've noticed that's hard for a lot of musicians to write about something that's happy.
Yeah.
You're just not inspired the same way when you're feeling good as you are when you're feeling bad, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so one thing that we really respect about your songwriting is a lot of times there's not a whole lot of structure like a lot of other songwriters are writing within. And what I mean by that is your cadence might be a little bit different, or it might not rhyme. But what's more important to you as a songwriter, at least from a fan's perspective, is the message that you're trying to deliver. And you don't necessarily have to fall within a structure to deliver that message. So is that a strategy that you have when you're writing, or does it just come out that way?
It kind of comes out that way, but I do try to avoid worrying about structure.
Okay.
I try to avoid worrying about. I've always been this way, even when I was just doing punk rock and roll stuff, where try not to worry about a genre or a certain structure, or we have to have this and a verse for the chorus for the bridge, and it's like it's just kind of like just following the song as it comes out.
Yeah.
I try not to make too many plans for a song, like, oh, I want it to sound like this,
Right.
or it's just I just start writing it and it's just kind of a very organic experience, where it's it just kind of happens. I feel like a lot of songwriters do have more of a plan of how they want to do their songs and what their end result they want to be. And I don't do that.
And you're more just following the song wherever it takes you.
Yeah, following the song, following my heart, and it's like it's just like wherever it takes us, And I don't think I've really ever wrote a song with much of a end direction I was trying to go at, like with it in mind. I'm just kind of writing.
And when you are writing, does the lyrics usually lead the way, or do you already have a melody in mind?
Most of the time, the lyrics usually lead the way, and I'll write like a verse and a chorus, and sometimes I'll go ahead and write the rest of it. Most of the time, at verse and a chorus, I get to a point and say, okay, where am I going to go with that second verse? And a lot of times I'll pick up my guitar and become, create the melody, and write some music for it, and then I'll write my second verse a lot of times.
Wow.
So it just depends.
That is really unique.
Yeah, I just don't like to force it. You know, if I have a verse and a chorus and now I'm like, oh, I gotta write a second verse, I'm never happy with it. So I might write that second verse 2 or 3 weeks later if that happens, or I might write it an hour later, or there's not.
Sometimes you can lose that feeling of the song too, while you're writing it. Sometimes you just need to have that re-perspective later on, to come back in and polish it up some,
and get back into that zone, or whatever you want to call it. Or I might be writing one, and my wife send me a text saying, "Oh, we need you." And my studio's in my yard, pretty much, right by my house. So I might get, interrupted a little bit or something, and then just have to come back to it.
Yeah, real life interrupts or whatever.
Yeah, life happens.
Yeah. So this is episode 227 with the Weathered Hearts. Guys, we're going to be right back after
Hi, guys.
this
This is Amy Gullaby, and thanks for tuning in to ETX ROCKS.
All right, guys, so we are back with the Weathered Hearts, Brandon, Matt, and Alex. I always forget names, so I'm not going to keep them straight. I always forget names, but definitely appreciate you guys hanging out with us on Super Bowl Sunday. The game's in about 3 hours, I guess, and Brandon doesn't care anything at all about the game, but the rest of us are looking forward to the game.
I hope all my bandmates stay in a good mood.
There's football on.
All that has to happen is for the Patriots to win, and all 3 of us will be happy. One of us a lot more happy than the other 2. But as you guys know, if you're following along with the ETX ROCKS Show, we like to play a game on the show, and this is no different. We're going to play a game with the Weathered Hearts. But first, I always like to ask a question just before this segment, and it definitely applies here. Where did y'all come up with the name, the Weathered Hearts?
The fact of just trying to find a band name, I guess. I mean, I thought of so many names. Used to. We'd think of a name like, we've never heard of that band name, so sure, let's use it. Now we have Google, and like you Google it, and they're like, well, there's some kids on the other side of the world.
Sweden or something.
They played 2 shows, so they have this name, But it's like, and I was just racking my brain coming up with stuff. I think it was the Weathered Souls. I think I come up with. I was like, just because it's a lot of hard luck stories. And heartfelt stories and stuff as far as our music. And
I think it definitely fits.
And the Weathered Souls was actually taken, I think. But then the Weathered Hearts, I think I liked it better.
I think it's better,
And I messaged these guys, and they're like,
the logo's cool.
That's
the heart with the actual heart, like the human heart with all the roots going through it. I think it's neat.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
it's but band names are hard to come up with. That's one of my least favorite things to do. About playing in a band is trying to come up with.
And the name of the other band is The Rest, which I think is cool as hell.
The Rest, and I think that Alan, my brother was playing in that band back then with us when we started it. It was the band we were in before. I think he came up with that name. And that was another deal where we had so many names. Like, yeah, that's it. There's no way anyone has used
You
that
also
band
played
name.
in Lulu and the Vipers, right?
Yes, yeah, I played in the Vipers. You know.
Wait,
right
all right,
episodes.
so we are going to play the game. The game is called What the Heck, all right? And basically, I'm just going to ask y'all 10 questions. I want you to turn your filters off. And so you're going to tell me the first thing that pops in your head, even if it don't make sense. I still want to hear it. Yeah, in the Northeast, we don't have filters. I had one installed when I moved to Texas, but the warranty doesn't expire like 9 years ago on that sumbitch. So yeah, I couldn't afford a new one at that point. But some of these questions might be silly, some might not make any sense, some might be really deep in nature. It just depends on what I pull up. So you guys ready?
So just random questions?
Yeah. Well, I've got 40 questions here, and I'm going to pick 10.
Let's do it.
All right. So this is What the Heck with the Weathered Hearts. Y'all check this out.
What the heck?
All right. So when God sneezes, what do you tell him?
When what?
When God sneezes, what do you tell him?
Oh. Ouch.
Can you really bless yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
You bless you.
Get your stuff together, man.
Was that like a hard breeze or, you know?
Oh man. All right. Number 2. How violently do you guys fight the urge to scream when you hear an ice cream truck coming?
Man, where I live, I don't hear any of them, so it's not really a problem.
But if you did hear one,
Oh, I'd chase it down in a heartbeat.
but so would you'd scream?
Hey, come back! Come back!
Give me some ice cream.
I love ice cream.
Yeah, me too. What's the deal with no more ice cream trucks? It's not cool.
Yeah,
There's one that rolls around Longview. Well, no, there's a guy that pushes a cart.
Yeah, but that's creepy as hell.
Yes, it is. You don't know what he's selling. You just never know.
No tell.
Could be like that guy on the corner out there that's selling Jesus in
Hey,
Longview.
what's some ice cream?
Oh, he's
He scares my
violently-
mom
He's
every
violently
time.
selling Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He scares my mom every time, and I'll make sure that if I see him that I pull over without my mom knowing why we pull over, and he'll always go, "Jesus lives," and my mom will go, "Jesus Christ."
It's like Jesus needs a used car salesman.
Yeah, and that's
tone it
him.
down a little bit.
That is definitely him. I'm going to have him on the show someday, just for
Good luck for that.
just for fun. All right, number 3. How annoying do you guys find baby pictures on social media?
Pretty annoying, man. As somebody that has a child,
Oh.
I hated putting pictures of my child on Facebook to begin with, but they're everywhere.
Man, for me, it depends on who it is. Like,
Yeah.
if it's somebody that I really know, really care about, family member, close
Yeah.
friend, it's cool. But, like, just random people blowing it up. And I'm sure that their friends and family feel the same way about them as I do about my friends and family. So it's not really fair, but I kind of hate it.
More along the lines of the tagging. Like, you get tagged in a picture, and you're like, turn off the notification.
That is the worst part.
Yeah.
Blowing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't bother me too bad, I guess, unless it's someone who is always doing it.
Yeah.
You know, because I do have interest in people's kids, you know, but then, you know, it's...
Yeah, don't be that person.
Yeah, so, but I don't have to worry about
One
putting
or
baby
two here and
pictures
there, it's
up. My
okay.
wife normally does that.
Yeah, like one a month, you know? Otherwise, you don't see the growth, you know, because you're seeing it too much.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, number 4. What if you guys could choose what Pop-Tart flavor you are? What would you choose and why?
Probably just strawberry. Pretty borderline generic, just boring.
Oh, man, I would just want to be one that nobody wanted to eat. So like,
The unfrosted.
yeah.
So like
No, my
all-
wife
like-
eats
like-
the unfrosted.
really?
She's
like
a communist.
Alpo flavored
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, Alpo or gasoline flavor.
Gasoline flavored Pop-Tarts.
That sounds terrible.
This episode is sponsored
Exactly.
by...
Sefco.
Did you answer, Matt? Or are you
No,
trying to-
man. I can't even tell you the last time I ate a Pop-Tart. I'm a big fan of the s'mores Pop-Tart.
Okay.
I mean,
So s'more?
everybody likes s'mores. Who doesn't want s'more?
So you're saying everybody likes you?
No, but I wish they did.
Maybe if you were a s'more Pop-Tart, they would, huh?
All right, number 5. Where do you think Superman is changing clothes nowadays?
Oh, yeah, the phone booth's gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Well, it can't be anywhere in public because then he would get accused of sexual harassment.
Broom
Yeah.
closet somewhere.
Probably right. Are there a lot of broom closets too, or?
I don't know. I say down in the gutters. Down in the gutters. So
Okay.
I mean, it's so fast, you could really do it wherever you wanted to, and nobody would ever see.
Hanging out with it down in the gutter.
Yeah, but that would be like a lot of pressure. Like you have to be fast while you're changing clothes now too. You know, one of the best answers I've heard is porta potties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somebody might knock it over.
Yeah, well,
And then you
they
come
could
out.
knock over the phone booth too, though. Theoretically.
Yeah.
But it would worry me, like Superman flying around. Someone's in trouble. I need to find a festival. You know.
Or like a construction site.
Yeah.
Find your closest construction site.
Exactly. All right, number 6. You can choose any songwriter to write your life story. Who do you choose?
Neil Peart.
Who's that?
He's the drummer for Rush.
Okay.
He wrote a lot of Rush's stuff. I guess he's not necessarily considered a songwriter.
Well, if he wrote their songs.
He did write a lot of their songs, so. But yeah, I've
Well,
always
then
been
that would be a
enthused
songwriter.
with Peart's writing.
Cool.
Oh man, I would probably. I guess I'd just go with Towns Van Zandt, just because I love Towns so much.
Cool. Be a heck of a song then.
Yeah, it'd be a dark song. Too.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna catch a lot of shit for it, but I would probably choose Chris Carrabba from Dashboard Confessional.
Wow.
I mean that was I grew up listening to and playing that style of music, so that's kind of always been I really like the way he does what he does. Super talented guy. It'd probably be cheesy and real poppy, but man, it would be great. He'd tell the story better than I could. Tell you that.
All right, number 7. If you were a worm, how long would you be?
Oh man.
What?
7 inches.
I'd be 7 feet.
A 7-foot worm.
That's a big ass worm.
One of those worms you find in Hawaii.
It's like a Shaquille O'Neal
5-gallon
worm.
bucket.
Yeah. Might as well go big.
Go big or go home, right?
Exactly.
I set him up with the song for the worm question with the songwriter question, and he was like, "What?" Because I think Matt was like, "I think the questions are going to get normal now."
No. Well, you never know what you're gonna get. I'd probably be like a little bitty tiny worm, so the bird wouldn't try to eat me.
Birds like the worm.
But
A little easy.
a 7-foot worm, what bird is going to try to eat that? Come
All
on.
of the birds, just
Well,
at one time.
I don't think
No,
so.
they're gonna be scared of that 7-foot worm.
I would be scared of a 7-foot worm.
I would be scared of a bird if I was a little bitty worm.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
All right, number 8. When dating someone new, I'm going to wait till he's done drinking so he doesn't spit everything out. When you're dating someone new, what is the appropriate amount of time to wait before going number 2 in front of them?
Oh, man.
First date, get it out of the way.
Yeah?
True.
I'm with you there.
Just
I would
Yeah.
be that way.
Yeah,
I guess
don't
it would
think
depend on what you had to eat before
Yeah.
that happened, man. Because
green
sometimes
greens or
yeah, it's like you could come in under the radar.
it can't be a
unless
Taco
you-
Bell date.
Yeah, no, you
'Cause
don't want to
then-
stop and get.
Well,
get
who
some
takes a
Taco
first date
Bell
to
before-
Taco Bell? You're
Just-
probably...
Matt.
When you're broke, you're broke.
And you shouldn't be asking people on a date
Dollar
because you're
menu,
broke.
son.
Man, I've been with the same girl for 15 years. It's been a long
Yeah.
time since I've been on a first
So
date.
how long
Yeah.
was it before you went number 2 in front of her?
Oh, it's probably a long time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say too long on that one. Yeah, I wouldn't. First date, whatever. I don't
Okay.
really know. I don't know. I ain't got nothing to hide. As long as they're not sitting in the room with me.
Well, if you go in front of them, they've got to be in the room with you.
Well, I still don't go in front
Sitting
of
on
them.
the edge of the
I'm
tub.
So
still
never
Gonna, yeah,
is his
never.
answer.
Never.
Yeah, I'm still going to shut the door. Yeah. Yeah.
Never is his answer.
Yeah.
Don't go in there.
Yeah.
All right, number 9. What do you think cats dream about?
Oh, murder. just absolutely laying waste to everything.
Yeah. You have a cat,
Yeah.
so.
I think that's the correct answer, actually.
Yeah.
I think they are dreaming about murder and destruction and annihilation and all of that.
Absolutely ruling.
With the
over
Dr. Evil laugh soundtrack just playing in the background
Yeah.
the whole time.
I'm not convinced cats actually ever sleep. Like, I think they just pretend to sleep.
What
So they
creeps
can
me out
lure
is
you
when they're
into their
sleeping and their
fuzziness.
ear satellite dish is just doing this number, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like,
So
that's creepy.
Yeah, so that's not sleeping.
Yeah. Like, I wish my ears could do that. That'd be cool.
Or terrifying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could listen to music better that way, I bet.
If you're trying to listen in on a conversation, people would know.
Right,
which
yeah,
ear
just
is.
turn your ear to it. That'd be cool. Last one, number 10. So you guys are stranded on a deserted island, and you guys can each answer this separately. You can choose one person, alive or dead, that's stranded there with you. And then you have to choose 3 items that you would need to keep that person entertained. So I'll go with Brandon first on that.
Okay, it would be my wife, and I would have to have HGTV for her, and a guitar, and some Rotel cheese dip. And she would be good. She'd be happy. Yeah.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah. So well, my wife likes to party, so.
All right, Matt.
Man, I always hate these questions. But I would probably have to pick my dad, because I miss him. And it would be a John Deere tractor, or no, I'm sorry, a Kubota tractor, a chainsaw, and a good book. And he'd be happy with all that stuff.
Yeah. And plus it's logical, too.
Yeah.
So
You
glad
keep
you
your
said
beach
Kubota.
mowed, and
Yeah.
you could build a house with the
Plant a
chainsaw.
garden. You know, whatever
And while
you
your
do.
dad's doing all the work, you could be reading.
There you go.
And you'll be better off with that Kubota than the John Deere.
That's
too,
right, yeah.
so.
Yeah. All right, Alex.
Oh man, 3 items.
That
I guess
one.
I'd take my wife.
Why am I the only asshole that didn't say my wife?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Terrible husband.
Well, you miss your daddy, so.
I do miss my
Yeah,
dad.
so.
I'd bring my wife, and I definitely have to have a cooler full of snacks, and probably a good book for her to read, and a canoe. So we like to canoe together, so
But
probably
she's
try to get off that thing too.
okay. So is it your wife you have now, or after she has the baby? Because she is pregnant now.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, congratulations on
Thanks.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be wife without the baby.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't be canoeing around with a pregnant woman. That wouldn't work.
Yeah. So you better trade
And a
that
pregnant
canoe for
woman on a
recliner or
deserted island?
something.
That would not go over.
Not good.
Yeah, no, And for the record, I would choose my dad, too.
Cool.
And my wife knows that. So,
Is your dad not with us?
Yeah.
anymore? Yeah.
so there's 2 of us that would not have chosen our wives. So, but anyway, that was What the Heck with the Weather Hearts. Guys, great job. Brandon won the game, by the way.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
won it before I ever asked a question, which is very impressive.
Wow. That's,
Well, that's his dude.
Nice
I'm
job.
not, yeah, I'm not used to winning, so.
I'll tell you how you won after. I can't say it on camera.
7
because
foot.
then
Okay.
everybody
He has a
else
7-foot worm.
It had nothing to do with the 7-foot worm. Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, so this is episode 227. Now you guys are going to play another song for us, so tell us a little bit about this one. And this is 36 years, I think.
Yeah, 36 years. This is actually one of the happier songs I've written, and it don't seem like it. People will get it wrong, you know, because it's talking about bad times, but it's talking about how they're all good now. It's 36 years. I actually wrote that song on my 36th birthday, so it's a couple years old now. And but it's basically reflecting on how there have been a lot of bad times, but that's all the past.
Yep.
And it's reflecting on the way of kind of from the extreme to where I was at one time to but that's all over, and I feel like I have everything now.
Yeah.
You know, it's that's kind of where it comes from. I played that song at my parents' place one time. My grandma started crying. I'm like, Grandma, that's a happy
Yeah.
song. And you know the way it can come across kind of sad, but if you listen to the overall message, it's like you know.
I think the message is inspiring, though. Even if you're a person that hasn't gone through that change yet, you know, I think the message in that song can inspire somebody to be hopeful for that, because it's happened to you. You know, you've gone through all of those hard times, and now you've found that person that's changed that around for you. You know, I've been in both of those places like you as well. You know, I've been the guy that was lonely and going through just rotten times, and then turning around and finding the one, and how that changes your outlook on life and all of that. So as someone, you know, who maybe hasn't gone through that change yet, I imagine it's a pretty inspiring song. And as we've been talking about a lot on this show, this song is a good example of the honesty in the lyrics and just the message that's put out by it. So you guys check this out. It's the song's called 36 Years by the Weathered Hearts.
It don't get any better than this. And I've been on this earth for 36 years. And I ain't had it any better than this right here. Well, I've had some ups and I had a lot of downs. Been down in some holes I'm not sure how I found my way out. And I had a girl who nearly took me straight to hell. And the woman of my dreams is right here. And I'm not saying all the hard times are over and done, but all I know is the good ones have begun. And I ain't had it any better than this right here. I've had some ups, I've had a lot of downs. Yeah, those times they were rough, but they're all past now. I had a few ups and way too many downs. Yeah, those times they were rough, they're all past now. I had a house, but my mind never was at home. A girl by my side, but inside I still felt so alone. I always worked and I always worked pretty hard. But when you're down in a hole, it's hard to get too far. And I saw some light when I finally left her side. And I met my wife and the skies opened up so bright. And I ain't had it any better than this right here. I've had some ups, I've had a lot of downs. Yeah, those times they were rough, they're all past now. I had a few ups and way too many downs. Yeah, those times they were rough, they're all past now.
Okay, so we are back. That was called 36 Years by Brandon Nichols and the Weathered Hearts. Incredible stuff. Amazing songwriter. I love what you do. Just the storytelling and all that. And I've got one last question before we talk about promo and all that stuff. A lot of times this can be the hardest question to answer as an artist. Who is the Weathered Hearts?
Well, that can be a hard one to answer. Alex Williams, Matt Collier. No, I mean really, we all just love music, and we love playing it. And we all have jobs we're serious about. We all have families. We don't see this being a career for us because I've done some touring in my past, and I'm a homebody. And now I got a 10-year-old little girl, my wife. I don't want to be away from them, And it's, but it's something I feel like I have to do, and I want to get it out there. I feel like it's something these guys feel like they answering for them. I mean, I feel like they need music too, you know.
Definitely.
And I know none of them, they're serious about their families and being with them as I am for sure.
That's the cool part about this band. We're all family oriented. We all, we've all got jobs. We've all got things that we do on a daily basis. But music is something that all three of us love. It's in our hearts. It's what we love to do. And once we get together, it's whether it's playing live or rehearsals or whatever. We have a great time with each other and a lot of camaraderie within the band, and something that we really couldn't live without. It's a part of us.
And it's easy for us to understand each other's lives and schedules. Like if they can't do a show, just family or whatever, I'm not gonna.
Right.
I'm not gonna even hesitate.
It should be that way anyway. Yeah, it should be that way.
We're about to take a little time off for about 6 weeks, I think, and it's just he has a baby coming, and I wouldn't dare try to book something during that time, and I feel like we're just all completely on the same page.
Well, that's awesome that you would do that too, instead of just finding another drummer, just take the time off. No, I mean, honestly, that's very refreshing, because that kind of loyalty is hard to find.
Yeah, I definitely love jamming with them. And I've said before, like Alex, I feel like I'm not gonna let him go. I'm like, he's stuck with me now. I love playing. It's like he plays rock and roll too. And it's like, and my wife's the same way. She's like, she plays bass in our rock and roll band, and she's like, I love playing with Alex. And I love playing with Matt too.
It's a good time.
For sure.
Well, you reach a certain point in your life when you feel like you've kind of sowed your wild oats or whatever, and you realize what's really important, and to find a group of guys and a group of families that all have that same feeling, it's awesome.
Cool.
It's very relaxing. It's kind of freeing in a way, because you don't have to worry about, well, if I can't make practice this week or if I can't make the show,
they're gonna kick me out. Yeah.
And not having to worry about that, and
We're getting rid of it.
and man, and being able to play.
You missed like 3 notes earlier.
Being able to play these songs is really legitimately refreshing.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because it is very stripped down. It's very bare. It's very honest. It's very soul-inspiring, the music y'all are making. And like I said earlier, it's cool to see that coming back in East Texas. So if people are just hearing about the Weathered Hearts for the first time, where can they find y'all as far as social media goes?
Well, Facebook, the Weathered Hearts, and really that's all we have as far as social media. We've done a little bit of recording, but things have changed so much. Like,
yeah, I heard there's a new record possibly.
Yeah, well, what we've decided to do is go ahead and record like 17 songs live record. We have so many songs that we want to just get out there. We're going to do just a live record, and then go in and start doing our studio record.
Okay.
We went ahead and kind of jumped into recording some stuff, but you know how it is with a brand new band. It's like we've kind of found our own since then, but this is the time. I feel like
everything's kind of solidified now.
And we've all come from way different type projects and stuff. And I know Matt, for one, it was weird to him trying to play this right first. Just the getting used to the whole different.
Yeah, everything is different. It's just less hard driving. For a bassist.
Yeah, and it was like for me and Alex, I think it was kind of just as hard. But it's like we kind of saw Matt come in after me and him were playing these songs together. And
we took a lot of time to, once the rock and roll band kind of subsided for a little while, he and I sat down and it took quite a few get-togethers before he and I felt comfortable about the direction of what he was writing and how it was going.
Cool.
Yeah, some stuff we really didn't even know what direction it would needed to go. You know?
So if there was a venue out there that wanted to book you, how would they do that? How would they get in contact with you?
They can message through Facebook and or of course through personal Facebook, Brandon Nichols. But through the easiest way is through the Weathered Hearts Messenger. Message through there.
And I also, I wanted to talk about the songwriter night that you have at Mi Casitas. It's the 4th Wednesday of every month.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So how would they get into contact with you to appear?
Just really, I should go ahead and throw my email out there too. It's Brandon.whtx and at Gmail, and they could email me or go through Facebook.
Okay.
And but yeah, that songwriter night
it's awesome.
It's been fun.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see songwriters being a focus somewhere in East Texas again. And that was all brought to everybody by Brandon Nichols. So it's cool to see Brandon out there with people like Nick Brumley and Austin Lane and Heather Little and Meredith Crawford and Cole Allen and Riley Redding, all of these local, just phenomenally talented songwriters. And they're there every 4th Wednesday at Mi Casitas in Longview, which is right there on Spur. In front of Kroger's, or sort of in front of Kroger's. Yeah. So you guys need to be checking that out. And like the Weathered Hearts Facebook page, guys. Right now, just pause this, go over there, like that page. Let's get the support a little bit higher for their page over there. Again, if you want to book the Weathered Hearts or if you want to appear at Songwriter Night, it's brandon.whtx@gmail.com. Is that right?
Yes.
So you can contact Brandon directly right there. And new music coming soon from the Weathered Hearts, so you guys be looking for that.
And one thing I'd like to throw out on Songwriter Night is February. Cole Allen is going to handle it. I'm going to be there watching, but I'm taking time off from it this month. But ever so often, Cole will handle it. And it's, if y'all hadn't seen Cole, he's great.
Amazing.
Great. Yeah.
All right, guys. So if you're tuned into the ETX ROCKS Show for the first time, we want to thank you for tuning into episode 227 with the Weathered Hearts. If you're tuned in for the first time, please follow along with us. We're located on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ETX ROCKS. We definitely appreciate if you would consider subscribing to us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscriptions to get back into the partner program with YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, and that would mean the world to us. Smash that like button too if you like what we have going on. Also, our funding depends entirely on our audience, people like you out there that are listening and tuning in. If you'd like to donate to the show, you can do so at www.paypal.me/ETXRocks. And as we always say on this show, we want to thank everybody out there for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX rocks.
That's right.
Howdy, folks. This is Aaron Watson.
This is Bree Bagwell.
This is Jake.
And this is Walter from Rocky Queen.
This is Curtis Grimes.
Monty Pittman. This is Doug Supernon.
I'm Heather Little.
This is Rob Redwine.
Ho! Hey, folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hey, guys, I'm Katie Lynn, and make sure to tune in to ETX Rocks with
Boston Chris.
Hello, y'all. This is Ronnie Millsap, and thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Tough guy. Ho!
Hey guys, we're Blacktop Mojo, and thank you for tuning in to ETX Rocks.